Talking Music with Big Andy. In this episode, the Starlite-Campbell Band are talking music with me, Big Andy. Hello, welcome to the podcast. I have with me this week Sue Starlight, and I forgot your name for a moment, Simon Campbell, the Starlite-Campbell Band. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, how you doing?
How you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
Good.
You've been extremely busy lately.
Yeah, do you know what? We always seem to be busy because it's just the two of us doing everything probably that a team would do, like a big...
Yeah,
So we kind of juggle, spin.
We are a team of two,
Yeah.
well, four actually, because we have two Labradors.
Yes,
which,
help love us and keep us sane.
yeah,
Distract us.
Yeah, it's like having two small needy children all the time, but it's a great thing. Having said that, I mean, when we say we're a team of two, this time for this particular album, we do have some more people on board, which is brilliant. Because we've got a publicist, a radio publicist.
Yeah.
All right.
Amanda Beale
For the
from
first time.
Yeah, for the first time. Amanda Beale from All About Promo and Tom and she's got a team. So she's working on the UK
On the radio.
which is brilliant. And also now we have physical distribution, which is a great thing to actually get your physical products out in stores. We have a company called CRS, Continental Record Services, based in the Netherlands, that are doing our European distribution, and in the UK we've got Proper Music, which are we're slightly exaggerating when we say a team of two.
We've only just recently expanded though, and Graham Steele as well, who's now our UK agent.
Yeah,
doing
of course,
our bookings as well. We're doing it still, but we're finding the good people to work with.
Well, there's been a massive resurgence of interest in vinyl lately, and so it's exploding all over the place. People are buying vinyl all over the place. You can getting vinyl in supermarkets now, which is just it's mad.
Yeah,
I've never understood why it went out of fashion anyway, because we've always played it, and we love that kind of the album concept as well.
Yeah, you just can't. You can't. I bought a CD copy of an album that I'd had for years and listened to and worn out, bought out 3 different copies of it. And when I bought the CD, it didn't sound right because it didn't have that little click just before the drum beat.
Yeah. I think the thing about certainly music from the 60s and 70s, and to some respect the early 80s, music was actually mixed and recorded for vinyl because it's a different technique, and I think that is why our music it does sound a little bit different, because I'm from the old school, because I started playing when I was 16 and did my first session when I was 17, so that's like in the mid 70s, late 70s. And I was learning in the studio from these guys that had been in there in the 60s. Because if you think about it, in 1977, it was only 10 years, well, no, obviously, from 67, when it all really started to happen. So 10 years, not a long time.
No.
So I think the thing is that I've always had that feeling in my head for vinyl. So we mix for vinyl, we record for vinyl, we record everything analog. It's all very... So to us, that whole analog and vinyl vibe has always been with us, if you know what I mean. We've always listened to it.
Yeah.
Well, let's start off. Although you're a UK band, you're based in Portugal now, aren't you?
Correct, yeah.
Right, okay. I've got down here now, I don't know if all of these facts are right because I've taken them off of different places on the internet. So we go that you formed as the Starlite-Campbell Band in 2016.
Correct.
You've actually been playing together since about 2012.
That's right. I mean,
in different forms.
In different forms.
Well, when we met, Simon had his own band, his own record. Like you've had your own career, I've had my own career because I come from like a folk rock background.
Yeah.
We were songwriting, and then we played together in a band together, but we didn't write together. And then when we unexpectedly fell in love and ran away together, because I'd never been married, and I so didn't look for this. It was just like, oh my God, you're the one. So when we got together, we didn't even start a band together then. It was only a couple of years later that we started writing together. And we thought, this is actually really feeling very natural. Let's do a project together. And that's where the Starlite-Campbell Band came.
Yeah.
So from when we decided to write our debut album, Blueberry Pie, really, we just gave ourselves 2 weeks to write an album together and decided on a name, and Bob's your uncle, and
that's right. Joan's
your aunt,
I mean, yeah, I was going to say you because you were married in 2014, weren't you? And I was a bit confused, a bit surprised that you come from a folk background. Now, I know folk rock and blues and stuff. It's kind of all a bit of a big melting pot and all that sort of thing. But what sort of stuff were you originally playing then? Was it sort of?
Well, when I was at school, because I've always sung. I mean, I was singing from the age of 3 on the swing. Even the neighbours were laughing down the road, because I sang. I was trying to sing Hank Marvin. I was born under a wandering star. Can you imagine at 3 trying to get down to that bass end? And I was playing a harmonica, making the next door neighbour's dog sing with me, And then I got the recorder at school, then the French horn, because all the instruments were taken. So by the time it got to me in the line, there was just the French horn left. It's like, okay, we'll give that a go. When I started songwriting, it was for me. It's not necessarily about. It was an acoustic guitar at 16. I was just writing. I was writing rock, but when it's a band of one, you can't be in a rock band. So you end up singing the singer-songwriter folk stuff, because you don't have a drummer, you don't have a bass player, you just have you. And so that's really where that came from. But I love music. I love all styles of music, from classical to rock to everything in between, really. So except for death metal, that scares me a bit. But other than that,
It scares everybody a bit.
Yeah. So I mean, so that's the answer in a way. It's just the songs. It's the calling of that craft that gets me.
Yeah. And you play bass, guitar, keyboards, and you sing.
Yes. Yeah.
And Simon, you play guitar, you do vocals, you play mandolin and synths as well.
Well, yeah. I mean, the whole synth thing is a bit odd. I mean, I'm a one-fingered keyboard player. I mean, Susie plays piano, and she's very talented. I mean, she plays everything, actually. If it can be made to make a music out of, she can play it, really. She plays but me, if it's got strings on, I can generally play it. But when I was in, I was very fortunate to get a record deal in the late 80s, early 90s. And of course, at that time, it was all like Euro pop, it was all Go West, it was all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And a lot of the drums then were all programmed. And I'd come from a rock background, basically. But I sort of just got this programming thing. And I think it's become I was sort of trained as a scientist, I suppose. And I sort of get that, programming, step and all that. And so I've grown up with it. And I love the sound of synthesizers, and I love the sound of drum machines and stuff. And on a new record, I mean, I have put some bits on. But as I said, it's one fingers, unless I'm actually doing a beat, and I can program in, like this. But that's it.
That's all you need. I mean, the thing that always gets me is that people forget sometimes that the people that made the synthesizers and all that sort of thing famous were using them for the first time.
That's
so
right.
They were learning how to use them, and that's what they were doing. They kind of like had them set up so that you could play an entire chord with one finger.
Yeah.
And then they just kind of played.
That's right. And I mean, I've on this last record, I mean, all of a sudden I'll just hit a button and it'll go woo, and you'll say, "Oh, I like that." So I'll go woo, and I'll say, "Well, we'll stick it in." So you'll probably find on this record somewhere in the language of curiosity, woo, somewhere it'll just make that funny noise. but it's in there because that's a cool thing. So,
Yeah.
But we on this record, apart from the drums, we have done a little bit of drum programming, but only to play for Steve to play along with him, and we've incorporated it into the groove, you know. Sometimes on one particular song.
There's one that goes.
I was going to ask about that because on your website you've got a list of sessions musicians that you work with.
Yeah.
And I see you got Steve Gibson as the drummer.
Yes.
Yeah.
And all the others, let's go for it. Let me see. Johnny Henderson, Christian Madden, Josh Phillips, and Gabrielle Vecchio.
Yeah.
Vecchio. They all play organ, piano. Is it Mellotron?
Yeah, Mellotron, and yeah.
So you've got 4 keyboard players and a drummer.
But yeah, it's the fact that the thing is with Steve is that he's always been our drummer, because I think that I mean Susie can talk a bit more about this, but a rhythm section is something that is quite special. It's like you know, when you listen to any of the great bands. And I'm not saying that, you know, we're in this league at all, but when you listen to Led Zeppelin, there's, you know, Bonham and John Paul Jones. You know, with the Who, you know, you get you know, you get Entwistle, and you get, and you know, and it's all these great rhythm sections have always been together, and the great bands, they normally stick together. U2, you know, the same rhythm section, and when these things go, so you know, we'll loathe to actually to use on the drummer, because Susie and Steve play really well together, you know.
It's an unspoken connection now, where we know this attention together. We're 2 halves of the same, and then but together we're more than that. And I love that. I love playing with Steve. I played with other drummers, and I'm not saying that they're not great drummers even. It's just that there's something that happens when he's just right. And when we play, it's fun, it's mischievous. And we hold it down when Simon starts improvising, because that's the funny thing is, and it's really interesting that so many drummers, especially when we're on jams, when Simon takes off, you know, and really the excitement builds in a gig, especially when you're on a jam. Everyone, or the drummers want to follow Simon, and they speed up. And it's like, in our job, it's like we're holding back. It's honestly, and it's like this G-force, and that's something that is so exciting. Live, I love it, and the thing is, you never know what's going to happen, and it all depends as well with the audience, because it's not just it's together we do this. It's not just us, it's who's in the room. Together we make that happen, and that's, I guess, what we've missed as well, you know. And I think it's been great with the online streaming, and fantastic that, you know, certain artists can do that, connect, and ostensibly just talk to us screen, and you know, and imagine you're there, and it's wonderful. And we've done a few of those, and we love that, but we can't wait to get back out touring in a few months' time.
Let's have a look at one of the band's videos.
Behind your eyes that wasn't there before, like me looking in an empty room without a floor. I cry, 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 cry over you. You're a hazy consecration brighter than a light. Can't believe that you would ever leave a human satellite. I cry, 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 cry over you. Time has lost a hold of you. Now you're somewhere else in my mind.
I was going to say, how has the lockdown and all that actually affected you and what you've been doing? Has it because some of the bands I've talked to have said that they found it quite difficult not being able to get out and play, but others have said that they found it really good because it gave them time and space to work more creatively together and do more writing and more work on the production of things and that kind of thing.
I think, I mean, there's two questions here. The first one is about the keyboard players. I'll just briefly cover that because Susie sort of.
I did go off on one.
Basically, we've got 4 keyboard players because they're all playing with different bands, and it's very difficult to get your tour in with everybody else. So what we do is that we slot in. I mean, Josh Phillips, he plays with Procol Harum. He's their full-time keyboard player.
Yeah.
Johnny Henderson, he plays with Matt Schofield and a raft of other people. And it's who gets booked first. And then Gabriele, he's in Europe and he's busy, so he flies in from Valencia.
Yeah.
But the keyboard player we're using on this particular tour is Christian Madden, who played on my first 2 solo records, and he's currently the full-time keyboard player with Liam Gallagher. So,
all right.
So if you saw Reading and Leeds over the weekend, and so you will see a band with rock and roll at the back, and Christian is the keyboard player. So he's going to go from playing from 120,000 people to a few hundred people when he comes to play with us. But the thing is with Christian, he's great, very cool. He's from Burnley. And I've known him for forever. He's a great lad, and so whether he's playing with Liam Gallagher or the Starlite-Campbell Band makes no difference.
Yeah.
Now back to the lockdown.
Yeah.
The lockdown. Yes, it has been very difficult. I mean, there's not very many. Well, I don't know, but we are full-time musicians.
Yeah.
And when I mean full-time musicians, this is how we earn our living. And we have a recording studio, a mobile studio, which we're in right now. So we do actually record and produce other people and do mixes and stuff. But this is our living. And so therefore, when we're not playing live, we're not earning it. And it has been exceptionally difficult for us financially. But our supporters have been absolutely brilliant. We've run a crowdfund campaign. We've had a subscription service where people subscribe and just paid us money to help us to support us as artists. Yeah. And our family have been absolutely magnificent, absolutely magnificent. So between everybody, we've just about to scrape through,
Yeah.
But, and of course, we've had to release the album. It's not a cheap business, I have to produce a vinyl and all that stuff. But we're on the other side of it now, and we've got a tour booked for October, and we're really moving ahead. Everything's good. And, we've paid for everything, which is a miracle. And, we're ready to go. So
well, that's cool. That's cool. And just talk about the music a bit. Your first album, Blueberry Pie, that received masses of applause and attention from critics and things all over the place. You got awards for it and everything. I mean, for a first album, and I know you've been in the game for a while, but for a first album, that was quite incredible. How did that sort of did you expect it was going to be received that way?
Absolutely not. I think when you release something, that's it. You've put your soul and your heart into that album, and then you send it out and you have no idea. The one thing I did do though, which is because it was obviously summer night back then as well, I just wrote to everybody and just sent out the album to everyone, and it was an absolute surprise, wasn't it? We just had no idea, and you never do. It's like even with any album, and I think for us as well, especially with Balance of the Lockdown, when you're looking at how it connected, is that you really don't know until you put it out there. And we're always really grateful and appreciative when somebody buys our music, loves the song, it becomes a part of their life. And that's really, we're communicators. We want to say hello, and also sometimes songs can just serve to say you're not alone, you know?
Yeah.
And especially in the lockdown, I think that's really important. When I was growing up, music was my best friend. It always is when you're a teenager, because no one else understands you, but you can find the understanding in the music, you know?
Absolutely.
And you can see why that kind of feel stays with you all your life, because it's those really formative years that you create that bond. And I think that finally, the one thing I think that we're also really wanting to do is that, you know, you can still have that bond with music no matter how old you are. It can be still quite inspirational, good fun, you know.
And I think, that you're right. And I think this is what the reviewers picked up on, because the and the radio people, and the fact that they heard something that was different. And I think some of it is down to the production, the way it sounds, because it does sound old school. It doesn't sound like it was made in 2017 or 16 when it was recorded. And I think that the lyrical content is interesting, but I think that what it did, it sort of connected people who were perhaps, because a lot of our audience are 45 plus, being quite honest about it, you know, there's that era that they're really into, and I think it connected them back to the youth, as Susie was saying. And you know, I mean, to get a 5-star review in R&R magazine, we couldn't believe it. We said 5-star, and we kept checking across the column and said, no. It must be Eric Gales, or, you know, and we're there, and we go, nope, it's 5 stars, and that was it, and it was incredible. So, you know, and I think with this new one, again, what we've done, we've tried to create something that is not the same. It's quite different in a lot of ways. The production's different, the songs are different, the way it sounds different, and because you got two things when you're doing a second album. They always talk about the difficult second album, don't they?
Yeah.
You either do the same and then hope that people are going to want more of the same, or you move forward. And we thought, well, and this one, sod it, you know, let's move forward. Let's do something different.
Yeah.
Parchment to hold. You brought suspicion, or so I am told. Love is a picture to paint and to see. Laid out on me. Walk in the forest. There's nothing to fear. I am so right when you are so near. Love is an anger, a sign, a decree, laid out on me.
The new album, Language of Curiosity, which I think is a great title.
Thank you.
Really good. You've already released 3 singles now, haven't you?
Yes.
You released 2 already, and then one came out in was it last week?
Yeah, on the 3rd of September.
3rd of
Gaslight.
September,
Yeah.
which is Gaslight. That's the newest one. What made you pick the songs that you have to put out as singles? Those tracks in particular.
Well, first, when we were going to release the album, we've had to delay it basically because of the pandemic. So the history, and when you look back, it's like Stone Cold Crazy.
Yeah.
It's perfect single, feel good, up tempo, just exactly what we wanted to, you would love to release that single. So we thought we'd do that.
Yeah.
And then with Lay It Out on Me, I've got to say, and Simon wrote the majority of this song, and so I can talk about this one in that sense, is that it's such a beautiful, naked blues. If you're going to get a blues song,
Yeah.
it is. But when you say blues, it's just an honest, naked, beautiful song. And we wanted to kind of show the two, because we always think about the album as like the Rubik's Cube. It's like life now, but looking at it from different sides. We wanted to show that, not to mislead anyone, that it's going to take you on a journey, that you're going to have that, you're going to have that. And then obviously with the pandemic, we delayed the release because really, we were talking to people in the industry as well, it's very difficult. You shouldn't really be releasing an album without supporting it with a live tour. And also our drummer was in the UK, as you know, Steve, and we were in Germany, and that was impossible. We couldn't finish it. So even just from a practical point of view. So with this third one, we knew that Gaslight, there was no conversation about it. It was just, right, this is it, And then in 6 weeks' time, the album comes out, which is, we're very excited about it. Very.
Yes, I can understand that completely. I think it's a great album, to be honest. I really do. It is different, as you say, but it's. I think it's easily as good, if not better, than the first album.
Wow, thank you
so much.
Really good. I really like
it. Let's hope your opinion is shared by everyone else. And thank you for saying that, because I can't tell you, because it's like, it's like any artist, I suppose, because you make something. It's like a sculptor, and you make a sculpture and you put it out there, and you think it's good. You think you've put your heart and soul in it. Yeah. You've done your very best that you can, and you put it out there, and then you wait for everybody, and you're almost like this.
You go and hide.
Okay, no, don't say anything, please. No. Just
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. It's like you never read reviews if you can help it, because you don't want everyone's going to hate it. So what? Going back a little bit, what were your? I mean, I know you. This is going back a long way for you, but what were your influences when you first got into music? What bands made you want to play? What made you want to decide to go into music as a sort of living thing?
I think as a 16-year-old lad, quite frankly, that one of the reasons why I wanted to get into music is to get more girls.
Yeah, no, I understand.
And if there is any heterosexual man out there from that 16-year-old that says any different to be a rock and roll star, I'll fight them. I'll take them outside and fight them.
No, I agree.
It doesn't matter, and it was a motivation. And I know it's sort of an odd thing to say, but I picked up the guitar when I was 16, in anger, so to speak. And what I was listening to then, because bearing in mind, it was 1974. So, I was listening to all that great music from 1967 all the way up to 74. So I was listening to Led Zeppelin, I was listening to Wishbone Ash, I was listening to Deep Purple, Black Sabbath, Jeff Beck, Peter Green and Fleetwood Mac, all these people that weren't actually blues artists. They were all. But I didn't know, because I didn't know anything about blues. All I knew is the music I'm listening to. So I'd jam along to these. I learned the first 5 Led Zeppelin albums off by heart without YouTube, which I tell you one thing is very tricky. When you look now, because unless you went to see them live, you couldn't see what they were doing. So I was playing everything in the wrong places. And anyway, that's completely, but when I developed my technique basically from that, and that's what really turned me on, and that's what got me all started, you know. And
Yeah.
that was it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what about you, Susie?
Well, it's an interesting one, and I was just thinking, I've thought about this before. I just love melodies. So so I go back to I was born under a wandering star. We used to have a vinyl record playing session every Sunday morning
Right.
with my mum when she was cooking a Sunday lunch, and we had everything on. And do you know what I mean, I DJ'd for a bit as well, because you knew the record that was going to get your mum bursting through the door, coming in to dance with you and spin you around, and so it was just music in general. I love dancing, so a lot of I'm one of 4 children, so I grew up with everything from Steely Dan to Jackson 5, because I've got my older brother and sister.
Yeah.
From a vocal point of view, though, I've got to say that Karen Carpenter was such an inspiration for me, because I could sing with her. I used to sing along with her all the time. I just loved her voice. I loved her singing. It was very pure, very melodic. And then I went off and I was into classical, because obviously I was playing in bands at school. So, and I've sung in choruses. I've memorized the whole St. Matthew Passion and the Kingdom with Bach, and so I've sung alto in choruses, and then I've gone into dance, and I've been into disco, and just really everything. I just love music. Just love it.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Let's have a look at one more video. So I saw a thing saying that you're currently working on an acoustic folk album. Is that?
We are.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of a departure from the last 2 albums.
Well, actually, we tour. We tour as a duo as well, and so that really strips. You just strip the songs back, and I think the main heartbeat of our hearts together is we love to write, we love to speak, we love to write stories, and so that's beautiful. And we were in Germany just before lockdown, actually playing in Cologne at the Urania Theatre, and we have a set that we tour, and so the album's called The Code, and we've been writing this over a couple of years now. And there's some songs that no one's heard, or you only hear them if you hear them when we play, and we strip it right back, and we can rock it up a bit as well, can't we?
Yeah.
Just the 2 of us, and I play the con with a drum pedal. So we just change it up, and I play piano and sing, and then Simon jumps on my bass guitar and plays, so we swap around and we just change instruments up,
But I think the thing about folk music, and you hit the nail on the head earlier on, it's all the same. It's like, you know, when you listen or watch, I don't really know the film Zoolander, you know, Derek Zoolander at the end, he said, it's all the same look. You know, he's got all these looks, blue steel and all that. It's exactly the same with music, because really it's all based on, really, on three chords. I don't care what anybody says. You know, it really is. All modern music and all popular music is based on three chords. So whether it's folk or blues or whatever, it's the same thing. And if you take some of our songs from The Language of Curiosity, the new album, for example, and you basically can play them on an acoustic guitar, and it sounds like a folk song. Bad sign. You can just play it, and it just sounds like a, because that's what it is. It's the treatment of it that makes different. I mean, you know, you listen to some of the great songs that have ever been written, and you can play them on an acoustic guitar in a folk club. I don't care.
Well,
you know,
I've got to say that one of my favourite songs that you have on your YouTube channel is your cover version of "Can't Find My Way Home."
Thank you.
Which I have always loved that song, and it is a really good version. I really like it. It's an incredibly good song. It's one of those songs I think it would be very, very difficult to do it badly, because it is such a good song in the first place. But I love your version of it. It's so, I don't know, it just kind of feels right the way you do it. It's
Well, the thing is with that, it's like a funny, because that's a funny mixture, because it really is. There's no electric guitar on it at all. It's just all acoustic. There's an electric bass on it, but there's drums and Hammond. So it's like, you know, it's very similar to what Steve Winwood would probably do if he was going to do it. You know, acoustic guitar, Hammond, of course, he's a great Hammond player, and bass and drums, you know, and his voice. And then I just wanted to add that harmony vocal, which is a bit of a feature of ours. But I think, yeah, you know.
The one thing that when we decided to record it, it was our way of connecting out to it in the middle of the first lockdown. Really, we were thinking it was so apt.
Yeah.
And it's like, let's you know, let's put it out now. And one thing that when I was singing it was to be honest about it. You know, I'm British. This is the way I sing. Let's keep it honest to authentic to who we are as artists. I think the one thing that I would say is it is British, isn't it? It's us. It's what we do. And I've got to tell you that when you said that really does melt me, because we've had such an amazing and beautiful response to the song, and we've always loved it, because it feels, you know, that feeling when you can't, when you're lost sometimes, you know it. Everyone knows that.
It is, as I say, I've always loved the song. I've always thought it's a beautiful song, and I really do look. Your version of it is really good, really good.
And I'm anyway, I get a bit emotional. You can tell we're emotional people. You know, as you talk to us, we get a bit sort of like woof.
Well, why not? I mean, that's what it's all about. It's what music is all about. It's about emotion. It's about feelings. It's about, you know, feeling up or down or whatever. It's about feelings. So your tour, where are you going? Are you touring the whole world, just Europe, or?
Well, we're on the third reschedule, just like the rest of our music family.
Yes.
Some dates that we're so fortunate to have this, because we didn't know until recently that it was going to go ahead, obviously, because you don't know what's happening with the world situation.
No.
So as it stands, we've got the 7th of October at the Half Moon in Putney. That's going to be like our party together. But first of all, we're going to start off with a little warm-up gig on the 1st of October with the duo, the folk kind of stripped-back singer-songwriter gig in a place called Hamish's Cafe up in Blacko, which is up north. And a really good friend of ours, Fiona Imlach, they've just opened this beautiful place. They've got a business there as well, because there's sort of Ashburn Heating. So they have this really fantastic environmentally friendly heating company, and they've got a cafe. And her father was Hamish Imlach from the Scots folk. He's the Scots folk legend that taught, it was Billy Connolly and all that era, and John Martin. So we're going to go and play a singer-songwriter sort of folk night up there.
Cool.
So I'm getting excited now. So on the 8th, we're going to Carlisle Rock and Blues Festival. On the 10th, we're at the backstage at the Green in Kinross. On the 12th, we're going to Middle England in Birmingham to the Hare and Hounds, which is King's Heath. Then we're at Manchester, the Met in Bury, a homecoming gig.
Right.
16th, we're about to announce actually that we're at Basingstoke Blues Club, where the Yardbirds have played. It's like a proper working man's club.
Yeah.
We're so cool. I'm so excited about this. And then after that, we're doing the Acoustic Couch in Bracknell on the 22nd as a duo.
Right.
Then we travel over to Germany. We're playing the D Canteen in Cologne on the 28th. On the 30th, we're playing Blues Route Helm Festival in the Netherlands. And then we've got a tour of 4 or 5 dates in the Czech Republic. Ah!
Cool.
Yeah, there you go.
That's really cool.
I've been booking it and like trying to get everything together, so I've got it ingrained in my head.
I can't remember. Where are we going next, darling? I don't know. That's
Yeah.
all right.
Well, for anyone that's watching who can't remember or doesn't want to go back, I'll have a link. I'm going to have a link to your website anyway, so that they can check it out on there.
Yeah. Please do come and see us, because it's.
I
Like
would love to. I really would love to come and see you. It's yeah. I like what you do, and it would be great to come and see you play live.
It's just, picking up the instruments again and playing and just getting match fit as well. You just feel life is right again.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing, It's not, we don't get a brochure and go, let's go here. The way we enjoy our lives together is actually gigging.
Yeah.
So we don't do holidays. We love working holidays, where we go out and we travel and we meet you and when we play. That's it.
No, I understand completely. I really do. All right. Thank you very much for joining me and for talking to me.
No, thank you so
about
much.
Music and about everything else. It's been wonderful to catch up with you and to talk about your albums and your music. Everybody out there who's watching, go and check out Starlite-Campbell Band. I will put up links, as I say, to their website, to their YouTube channel, and all of their stuff. So check out the music, check out the videos, and then go along and see them live. It's going to be worth it. And even if it's not the sort of music you normally listen to, give it a chance. So see how it goes. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you to everybody for joining us, and I'll see you again soon. Thanks. Bye. Talking Music with Big Andy.